The Amazon's canopy, a vast emerald sea, had once been Elias Thorne's prison. Now it was his penance. A year had passed since the incident of the Eye of the Sun, since the golden shimmer on his hands had faded, leaving only a memory of impossible light and an insatiable hunger for the unknown. He returned not with a drone, but with a battered, ancient dugout canoe, its hull patched with resin and regret. The river, a serpentine mirror of the sky, swallowed the sound of his paddle strokes. This journey was different. The last time he sought a ghost. This time, he was the ghost, hunting a rumor whispered in the remote riverside villages. A story of black obsidian idols that pulsed with a low rhythmic whisper, leading men not to gold, but to madness. His destination was the Lagoa Negra, the Black Lagoon, a place so deep in the unmapped territories that even the indigenous river guides refused to go. The lake is where the jungle dreams, patron, they had told him, their eyes wide with fear, and its dreams are old. Elias, a man whose 35-year-old face was now etched with a fresh scar tracing from his brow to his jaw, a souvenir from a previous encounter with an irate shaman, only nodded. He hadn't come for sanity. He had come for answers, or perhaps for another glorious descent into the abyss of the impossible. The air grew heavy, the usual jungle chorus of birds and insects thinning to an ominous hush. The light, even at midday, was bruised purple beneath the colossal trees, each one a silent sentinel to secrets too vast for man. He found the Lagoa Negra not by sight, but by sound. A low, persistent murmur, like 1,000 voices whispering just beyond hearing, emanated from the water. It wasn't the hum of insects or the rustle of leaves. It was a rhythmic pulse, a heartbeat beneath the surface. The lagoon itself was a mirror of polished obsidian, reflecting the bruised sky with perfect, inky stillness. No plants grew along its shores, no birds dared to drink from its depths. It was a wound in the heart of the jungle. Elias beached his canoe on the only patch of dry, black volcanic rock and stepped out. The ground felt cold even through his worn leather boots and hummed faintly beneath his feet. He began his search, his machete now a comfort, not just a tool. Hours blurred into a monotonous rhythm of hacking through vines and scanning the eerie shores. Then he saw it, not gold, but black. A squat, crude idol of volcanic obsidian, about the size of a man's head, sat half submerged in the lagoon. Its surface was unnaturally smooth, almost wet, despite being on land. As he approached, the whispering grew louder, weaving directly into his mind. He heard fragmented words not in any language he knew, but in a frequency that felt ancient, primordial. It was a plea, a warning, or perhaps a call. He reached for it, his fingers tingling with an electric hum. The moment his skin touched the cold, smooth obsidian, a sharp, piercing pain shot through his head, and the whispering coalesced into a single, terrifying thought. Welcome home. Elias recoiled, the obsidian burning not his skin, but his very thoughts. He stumbled backward, clutching his head, fighting against a wave of nausea and disorientation. The world around him twisted, the trees elongated, their shadows stretching into monstrous, grasping claws. The black surface of the lagoon began to ripple, not with water, but with the distorted reflections of faces. Ancient, screaming faces, their eyes like burning embers. He knew this wasn't real, or was it? The whispers, now a cacophony of fear and longing, flooded his mind. He saw his father's face clear as day, standing on the opposite shore, beckoning him. "Lucas," Elias croaked, his voice cracking with desperate hope. The figure smiled, a smile too wide, too cruel. He grabbed his compass, his last anchor to reality. The needle spun wildly, uncontrollably. His GPS was dead, the radio a silent weight. The jungle, his oldest adversary, had found a new way to torment him, by invading his mind. He knew this feeling from the Eye of the Sun incident, the blurring of lines, the impossible becoming real. But this was different. This wasn't about a physical treasure, it was about his sanity. He stumbled away from the obsidian idol, trying to push through the hallucinatory trees, but they seemed to shift, to block his path, to laugh at his struggle. The whispers intensified, now laced with mockery. You cannot escape your own thoughts, Elias. We are already inside. From the swirling, hallucinatory mist that now clung to the lagoon, a shape emerged. Not a jaguar, not a man, but something in between. It moved with the stealth of a predator and the eerie purpose of a ghost. Its body was made of obsidian shards, reflecting the bruised light of the jungle in jagged, terrifying angles. Its eyes burned with the same green fire as the emerald mask, but colder, more malicious. It was a reflection of his own fear, given physical form. Elias felt the familiar surge of adrenaline, but this time, it was laced with a chilling realization. This wasn't just a monster. It was a construct of the very whispers that tormented him. The obsidian hunter moved with impossible speed, silent as a thought. Elias tried to raise his machete, but his arms felt heavy, disconnected. The whispers turned to accusations, dredging up every failure, every regret, every mistake he had ever made. You abandoned him, Elias. You failed your father. The hunter was upon him. Elias dodged, a primal roar tearing from his throat, the sound of a cornered animal. He lashed out with the machete, the steel sparking against the obsidian skin, but it was like hitting solid rock. The creature didn't bleed. It merely fractured, then reformed, its eyes glowing brighter. Elias scrambled, desperately searching for anything that could break this spell. His eyes fell upon the obsidian idol, still half submerged in the lagoon, pulsing with its dark energy. He knew with a horrifying certainty that the source of his torment was also his only hope. He ran, not away from the hunter, but towards the idol. The obsidian creature was relentless, its razor-sharp limbs slashing through the air, leaving trails of black dust. Elias felt a searing pain across his arm as a shard sliced through his shirt, drawing blood. The whispers reached a fever pitch, threatening to tear his mind apart. He stumbled to the edge of the lagoon, the icy water washing over his boots. He grasped the obsidian idol, its coldness a sudden comfort against the burning in his mind. He didn't know what to do, but an ancient primal instinct took over. He raised the idol above his head, its weight immense, its whispers now a deafening roar. With a scream that ripped through the very fabric of the hallucination, Elias plunged the idol back into the heart of the Lagoa Negra. The water boiled. A blinding flash of purple light erupted from the lagoon. And then, absolute silence. The whispers died. The obsidian hunter froze, its emerald eyes widening in what looked like agony. Then it shattered into 1,000 glittering shards that dissolved into the water. The distorted reflections vanished. The monstrous trees returned to their natural form. The jungle no longer laughing, merely watched. Elias stood, drenched in sweat and fear, the silence a heavy, welcome blanket. He had not found gold, nor had he saved his father. He had merely silenced a deeper, older secret. The Lagoa Negra returned to its inky stillness, a mirror once more, but now it reflected only the exhausted face of Elias Thorne, a man forever marked by the whispers of the deep. He was alive, but the jungle had claimed a piece of his sanity, a price he knew he would pay for the rest of his days.